Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Thank you. Today was like, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Cecil Chick. I use she and they pronouns. I serve as our Assistant Vice President for Diversity, Inclusion, Equity here in HRDI, Cal State Fullerton. I'm excited to share the space with you all. Before we begin and get into remarks and do the rest of our program, I would like for us to start the ceremony with the Black National Anthem. All right, so we're going to get started with that. Thank you. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our wearies, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in thy path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to God, true to our native land. Thank you, everyone. That was Tasha Cobbs, in case you were interested. You can find her on YouTube. All right. So, I am honored to be here sharing space with you all today to commemorate this often forgotten piece of U.S. history. For the past 2 days, I've had the pleasure of attending the CSU inaugural Juneteenth Symposium. It was a place and a space for preflection, reflection, and for me, a time for planning on how our work at Cal State Fullerton can move into a place of action for racial equity. This symposium also reminded me of my own personal reason for why I am committed to doing this work. I had the pleasure of hearing Dr. Cornel West speak. He also shook my hand, just in case people were wondering. And he reminded the audience that the quest for truth, goodness, and beauty should be laid upon the foundation of love. For me, this means love for collective humanity and also for individuals so that their humanity can be recognized. I am personally committed to leading this work with love, compassion, and empathy. But what does this look like? I want to share a powerful reminder that Dr. West shared at the symposium. An audience asked Dr. West a question about how do we do this work from a place of love? His answer was a simple reminder that love is justice in action. So on this day, where we honor history, I am also optimistic about a future rooted in love through justice. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Lecturer in Criminal Justice, a co-president of the Black Faculty and Staff Association, and my friend, Mo Miller. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning. Okay, let me say it to the rest of y'all. Good morning. I am so honored and I'm happy to be here today. I'm gonna put this mic up a little bit. I'm an MC, so my mic gotta be in the right spot. I want to thank you for coming out today because, quite frankly and honestly, it's been a struggle here at Cal State Fullerton as a Black faculty member. I am so happy to see my family who are out here supporting us today on what we thought was going to be a flag raising. Okay, now, what had happened was HRDI worked really hard to get this program on. And it was a lot of calls, a lot of email, a dislocated shoulder, an urgent trip to urgent care later that we got it together. I want to thank Steve Reyes, who is in our HRDI, standing right over there, because he worked tirelessly to get this program off the ground. So what had happened was, we ordered a flag. And when it got here, it was too small for what I, as your BFSA president, was like, well, they tried. They had their heart into it, and they wanted this to happen. But the flag came too small, not too late, not without a good-hearted agenda, just too small for what we needed to do today, which is honor our ancestors who had denied or delayed freedom. So it's getting a little hot, so I'm gonna keep a short story. But what I wanted to offer you is like a little storytelling before I get into what I got from the symposium and how that symposium came about. Juneteenth is in my DNA. It has always been there. My people are from Texas. Now, yesterday's symposium, now I want to dig into ancestry because a lot of what we learned is a lot of slaves had migrated from Texas to California. And I thought to myself, I know for a fact that my grandparents migrated to California in 1935. And I know for a fact they were escaping racism and Jim Crow laws and just the strangle on their lives. See, what I did find out was they were actually middle-class African Americans, Black people, who came to California to just not for a better life for their grandchildren, but to sustain the life that they had already created in Texas. We hail from Robstown. I know y'all, I had to look it up because I was like, who names a city Robstown? But originally from Corpus Christi, and my grandfather was from Shreveport, Louisiana. So it all made sense about how we landed here in California. So I'm at the symposium, and what I noticed off the bat was I was surrounded by not only family members, meaning people I had gone to school with and had labored with through my undergrad and even graduate school, that Dominguez Hills was the first host campus. This is going to be a biennial celebration, and it will rotate through campuses. What was very, what touched me is knowing the president of Dominguez Hills. It's Dr. Thomas Parham. When I first arrived in Southern California at the other school that shall not be named, because I'm a Titan now. He was my mentor. So to walk into a place, in a space where I know someone who poured into his community and made sure that, we were okay as blacks in Orange County at the other campus. It was, and I say that cheeky, right? Because I'm a Titan. But it was very poignant to walk into that space and feel welcomed and loved. So just a few reflections. So we're just now, if you're just now hearing about the symposium, the Juneteenth Symposium, like I said, it's going to be a biennial celebration. It's a campus-wide celebration. Now, we do know that most campuses were doing their own individual celebrations. Fullerton's way was, I thought, the way to start it would be to raise the flag as an olive branch to let you know that we do appreciate and care about our black students, our black staff, and our black faculty. We know that the pandemic has brought out the inequities and the inequalities that exist on our campus and in America. We're just what you call a micro, right? A micro of it. So to see you here today to support that, what an amazing olive branch to come out and say, hey, we hear you and we see you. What the symposium reminded me of is, where do we need to go for our anti-racism and social justice work in no other plain way or cupcake way to say it, meaning sweet, for our black faculty, staff, and students, especially in a county or a place where we may not feel like we belong or where we struggle to belong, and where even though we're a community, we still feel like we don't belong. So the symposium was about the history and achievement in promoting and sustaining the anti-racism work that is underway across the campuses. And what more than anything, it was a call-in for me, right? I'm here, I'm at Fullerton. This is where I labor and I love, and I create and I laugh, and I support, and I'm Auntie Mo, right? I know this is where, this is my land, is what I would say. This is, I played the whole version of the Black National Anthem, because usually we stop after the first chorus. I played it till the end because if you really look at the lyrics, you will see how it is about land and a land acknowledgement. The Black National Anthem is a beautiful land acknowledgement to the blood and sweat tears that slaves have put into this country and built the wealth of the country. And my iPad keeps going to sleep. Should have put it on never for next time. There were world-class speakers at this event, and they talked about what's next. Cornel West was amazing. When you meet your idols and they don't let you down. Yes, I was like, oh, when you meet them and they don't let you down. And when you meet your classmate, Tyrone Howard, UCLA, who talks about K through 12 and the injustices that black students face with suspensions. And for those of you who know me here, I'm a criminal justice instructor, and my focus is juvenile justice with black and African American students in K through 12 and through college. We had Shirley Weber, our state secretary, come up. But the most engaging conversation I had was with Marianne, and I don't want to mess up her name, Thomas, student. She's the reason why the Juneteenth celebration exists. She's the one who wrote the resolution. To get up to see her speak as one of our, meaning the CSU system students, to bring this resolution that we needed to celebrate Juneteenth and honor the work that we need to do with anti-racism on campuses and equality, was the most mind-blowing conversation to have, because, right, she's a student. And she talked about how people would come up to her and say, you're not black. Why are you doing this work? Okay, so by your faces, you know we still have a lot to do, because it shouldn't matter. She had a heart for it. And she's an ally who put herself on the line to make sure that we were paying attention to this work. Now I'm on information overload. That happens to me when I get in a space where there's so much I want to learn and so much I want to know. But I wanted to bring her up because I wanted to pay honor to her, because she thought about it, right? She was like, we're going to make a resolution. And so now this is the thing, CSU Fullerton, right? I want to be on the list. Maybe not for 2024. Our flag will be ready, but remind me to come back to the flag. But 2026, we know the years that the campus will host. So my call and my challenge to us is to be on that list, to make a difference at Cal State Fullerton and let our Black faculty, staff, and our students who are most precious to us all know that they belong. We honor them and we see them. So just in case you didn't get a chance to look at the points, right? So the symposium is about interrogating and diffuse, important word, diffuse the bias and assumptions people bring with them into academic spaces. That's a call-in, faculty. Remember when I said I'm Auntie Mo? Some of you are on my list because you've made my babies cry. They are in my office because they face not only the challenge of being Black in America, but being Black on campus. They belong, and they're just as genius and as smart as everyone else is here. My calling to you is to not do that to my babies. It makes me a little salty, and I like to throw you some shade. But I'd rather call you in and work together to make this a space for our Black students. There's also a little call in for our Black faculty and staff. We play a part in making this campus work and move. And quite frankly, you need us because we have a different perspective. We see it differently. And when you see things differently, you can have a good conversation about how to make it work. Just because the viewpoints are different doesn't mean either one is irrelevant. They can both be used to make a better space for our Black faculty and our staff. Another point was to develop new substantive programs across the CSU, specifically here in higher education in general, and demonstrate that our commitment to true needs of students, faculty, staff, and administrators of African descent. I spoke a little bit about that. And last but not least, examine and transform the policies, had to pause, you know why, and practices that inhabit rather than facilitate Black excellence. Now I know Black excellence is that term you hear and it makes you go, whoa, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that we're better. It just that means we have a standard that our community has had since, guess what? Since I was a little girl. My grandmother told me 3 things are important. Get an education. It's your way out. She was right. Who knew that that little poor Black girl in Oakland, West Oakland, California, would be a professor at one of the most, what we call ourselves, hidden gems in Orange County and most sought out by students. We are 40,000 strong. And what you're looking at is first gen, former foster youth, experiences homelessness, and a survivor of childhood abuse. And I am your faculty member. When it talks about examining and transforming policies and practices that are in place, let's make sure that when we are training our faculty and talking to our staff, that we are making a sense of a place of belonging. I don't like to use safe space. It's not a term I like to use because unfortunately Black people are not safe in America, right? And I can give you tons of examples. I don't want to do that today because we're celebrating. But what I do want to point out is I want this to be what I call a protected space. We need to protect our students, all of them, our faculty, all of them, and our staff, all of them, but in particularly our Black students, because anti-Black racism is different than racism. And so, as I'm going to wrap up, because y'all know it's getting a little hot in here, I just really want to thank you for coming out and extending this olive branch to our Black faculty, staff, and our students. And what I was going to back up and say about the flag, immediately when the flag came and I was like, uh-oh, that's too small. That flag needs to be huge and large and in charge because Fullerton needs to say, hello, we see you. We honor you. And most of all, you belong here. And we want you here. That's the part I struggle with mainly. And I'm just being transparent. So Steve has said, Mo, I'm sorry about the flag, sis. And I said, it's okay. What are you going to do about it? Well, he said, well, we know better. Now we're going to do better. And we know in our community, African Americans, we know once we say we know better, we do better. Our grandparents passed that down to us through church hymns and dinner table and picnics and electric slide lines and every celebration we have. And so Steve said the flag is actually 9 by 12, and it needs to be handmade. What love will go into that flag when we see it next time? It's going to take a while to make, just like it's going to take us a while to do this work. So my presence here today is to call it in. Cal State Fullerton, I know we can do it. And the reason why I know we can do it because as I walk around this campus, I see it. Titans, we reach higher. I passed by on the freeway coming in today. There is a definition of a Titan. I didn't get to catch it, but I know we achieve and we make things happen because you got to drive. You got to look. You can't. I saw it. I'm gonna walk out there and read that and see what it actually said. But we reach higher. We achieve. I want when I read that to know that that includes us as your Black faculty, staff, and students. So we're going to, in our spirit, raise the flag and make that commitment to make this a place where we work on our equality, anti-racism, and most definitely creating a campus where we belong and are included. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate you. Now I'm going to do something a little different right now. If you'd like, I would like to have you have community comments. So if you have a comment or you would like to speak, I would like to yield the podium to that because I know this day means different for all of us and I don't want to be the only voice to speak. Don't be shy. And it's okay if you're an ally. I just want to give an opportunity. I should smile. Sound kind of cute. Well, thank you, Titan family. It was really amazing to see all your faces. Because you don't have on mask. Because we're outside. You're so beautiful. And I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming out today. And let's make a commitment to meet here every year at the flagpole to raise our Juneteenth flag. Appreciate you. Love you. Enjoy the rest of the summer. I am officially on summer break. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.